Welcome to Agape Ministries, where you'll get practical tips on how to get on the frequency of God, how to find that perfect soulmate, how to fix your health, how to lose that weight, and also how to make money during these tumultuous, obscure, uncertain, crazy pandemic times. If you're entrepreneurially minded, we'll share with you a unique opportunity how to get into an international commodities business. But most importantly, we'll connect you with God. So if you've been praying and seeking God, if you're stressed and depressed and you have mental issues, this is the answer to your prayers. Watch our weekly videos. You will tremendously benefit from them. God bless you, and we'll see you at the very top. Hello folks, this is Brother Samuel with Agape Ministries, and today I decided to take you on a walk with me, especially if you're stuck at home in these crazy pandemic times. If you feel a little bit depressed, I've decided to take you on a walk, at least virtually, so you can enjoy this beautiful, beautiful garden with me. I'm pointing my hand here, if you could see it in the frame, to enjoy these flowers and the fresh air, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, about 20 degrees, 21 degrees Celsius, low humidity. And we're going to talk about achieving equilibrium or balance, both physical and mental balance in these very tumultuous, crazy times. Most importantly, about your spiritual stability, how to reach that desired state of mind and happiness, even despite these difficult times that we live through right now. The most important piece, folks, is breathing exercises and meditation and going for walks. If you're going for a walk, not only that you're exercising, I highly recommend going for a half an hour walk, maybe to an hour. I walk daily, I jog, I bike, I play tennis. I recommend you do the same. As far as meditations go, I highly recommend you start it early in the morning. When you first get up, you drink your water, lemon water. You add a few slices of lemon in your glass jar in the refrigerator. It's got to be filtered water, of course, and then you meditate over the glass of water as you say your prayers and meditation. Then you eat a grapefruit, organic grapefruit, that will actually stimulate your metabolism. So if you need to lose some weight, that would be a perfect solution. I've lost over 40 pounds in 90 days, roughly. And so it is a non-advertised methodology that's not advertised because nobody would make any money. You just go buy a grapefruit, and in the world we live in, everybody wants to make a buck. So that's why you've never heard of this method, but it works very well. The next thing, folks, if you are stressed out, and this is, again, reaching enlightenment. This is the next level. In these tumultuous times, you may be perhaps trying to survive, and I'm talking about enlightenment, meaning the next level of evolution, spiritually speaking. It is very possible. If you go on a 7-day fast, where you just drink water and meditate and say your prayers, that is the way to achieve enlightenment. And the best way I could describe it is actually doing listening to Gregorian chants, not turning on the TV or the news or reading the newspapers, but in a very dedicated fashion, focusing for 7 days without talking to anyone on your goal. That is connecting with our Creator, with God. It was very well described in the book called Pustinia that was written in 1975 by Catherine de Hook. Catherine is a very unique person. She came to Canada in 1921. She was born in 1900 AD. I highly recommend, get her book called Pustinia, which means the desert experience of the early church fathers who would go into the desert to seek solitude and to meditate and to connect with God, to seek enlightenment. So this book is instrumental and very, very important. It will change your life forever. You will not be the same. You will not be the same after you read the book and actually go through this experience. She actually started a community up in Canada called the Madonna House, where they offer cabins, log cabins for people who want to, come to their community and maybe do some work and live there for a week or so. I highly recommend that you explore that option if you're into reaching enlightenment or higher levels of spiritual awareness, of being able to read people's thoughts, being able to connect with animals. If you have animals at home, dogs or cats, they actually have a language of their own, besides barking, of course. And by going through this desert experience for 7 days, you'll be able to almost understand the language of the animals, which was done by all the early church fathers who led a secluded, hermetic lifestyle. And they do have a very distinct, non-spoken, non-verbal language that you will be on that same frequency. And then, of course, by the 7th day, hopefully you'll be in a place where you could say you can read, you could be on the frequency of God. That's the ultimate goal, is to be on the frequency of God. That's if, of course, if you're on this might be too advanced for some people, but the 1%ers will get it. This may not be for everyone. Maybe 99% of people are trying to survive, but the 1%ers are searching and looking for God. This is why our ministry, Agape Ministries, is putting out these messages, is to facilitate this transition, get you closer to God. Agape is a Greek word for the highest form of perfect, unconditional God's love that cannot be fully understood by human beings. And if you look at the bigger picture, the cosmos itself, just in the last few years, astronomers and astrophysicists have discovered that everything that's held together in our universe, they call it dark matter or dark energy. The reason why it's dark, because we cannot see it with any devices. They've mathematically calculated that about 15% of the physical mass, meaning everything tangible, the planets, stars, nebula, are 15%. The other 85% is this invisible force, invisible something, some entity that holds like a glue everything together, all the galaxies, the planets, and everything else. So the idea is, folks, the idea is very, very simple. You simply need, if that's your path, you need to dedicate some time and energy to getting to know your Creator, going on a 7-day fast, going on daily walks. And if you can achieve that, if you can be disciplined enough to go on a 7-day desert, quote-unquote desert experience, go into the desert, but you could do it in your home. If you cannot get away from all the obligations, from all the relatives, friends, and animals, then your next best stop would be to go to Canada, to this special community called Madonna House. You could visit their website, madonnahouse.org, and research it further. So that's basically it, folks. It's a quick summary, under 10 minutes, to reorient you and allow you to sort of align yourself with the frequency of God. You will be able to hear His voice when you become silent. This is why you go on this silent, fasting, meditative, 7-day type of experience, which is very, 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 very important. You should do it at least once in your lifetime, at least once. If you have not done this before, if you've not experienced this, I would have to say, folks, from my own personal experience, you haven't started living yet. You have not started living yet, because this is not life. This unexplored life. The reason why I brought you to this garden is that so you can enjoy these beautiful, beautiful flowers, the scenery in 4K resolution, especially if you're stuck at home, especially if you're dealing with these, pandemic times, which, by the way, in my opinion, overblown, overhyped up, and quite fake. I believe this is a economic warfare. It's a warlike attack, except without using tanks and missiles and bombers to Same thing like Vietnam Part 2, except new type of weaponry. So that there's no need to drop the bombs and use Agent Orange, where you could actually have bring down the economies in the world with this new type of pandemic, which, by the way, started in 1942. If you actually do your research, you'll find very quickly, it was recently declassified materials, that the British military has developed a man-made virus in 1942 that they were testing off the coast of Wales, 2 kilometers west of Wales in 1942. They were testing it on, their guinea pigs were actually sheep and a few other animals. And of course the animals immediately died. Some of the animals could not be accounted for when they came back to, retrieve the corpses, take them back to the lab. They were planning to use this biological weapon, folks, on the German troops. So remember, it was the World War II, and that's the first successfully created man-made biological, very, very powerful weapon that was tested, that we have a record of. Perhaps there were many others. And so, long story short, this virus got onshore to Wales. A lot of farmers, a lot of people in the area and animals have died because of that, almost instantaneously, kind of like Ebola. Then it got to mainland Europe, then to Eastern Europe, and then it got all the way to Siberia, where thousands of people have died. And they thought it was the end of time, the second coming of Christ was imminent. So the point of the story, folks, every 10 years or so, militaries of the world, the biological labs, were perfecting this virus, because they can easily look under the microscope and see it's a man-made. There's certain traces of how to tell it apart from a naturally occurring virus. And they saw that the technology was immense. It was incredible for 1942. And then every 10 years it was perfected, it was modified, it was sort of tested and out there in the public domain. This is the first time that it was done globally in a new format. So it's meant to be dormant in all of us, and it's meant to be activated upon a certain future time with some kind of a trigger, such as maybe, perhaps, it would be a transmission of a certain frequency. You can do your research. HARP, H-A-R-P, in Alaska. It's low frequency array of antennas that are designed to do certain things, change the weather climatically, and it's a really just an incredible, absolutely incredible time we live in now, folks. And this is the message of hope. I don't want you to be ignorant, so the focus is on the positive, but I have to mention the dark side, because in this world we have the angels of light and the angels of darkness who are trying to tear us to pieces. The demons, or in Islam they're called Iblis or Shaitan, their sole purpose is to cause destruction, devastation, verbal fights, physical fights, murder, wars, just destruction, basically. And so our job is to stay on the positive side while being aware of what they're all about. And my role here right now is to share with you everything I know, to help you be healthy, wealthy, and wise in these difficult times, and very well balanced spiritually, physically. That's why I encourage you to go on walks, enjoy this beautiful, beautiful nature if you can. If you can't, that's why I'm filming it in the garden, so you can enjoy at least a 4K resolution if your screen technology allows you to view it in 4K. You can get the 30 frames per second, the highest resolution possible. And overall, folks, this battle, as the Bible says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, powers in the heavenly places. What that means is, when you think your neighbor or your husband or your wife or your girlfriend, your boyfriend, that's causing you grief, that's causing you irritation, If you think it's that person, it's actually not. The person is just a pawn that's used in this game, in this invisible game. If your physical eyes were open, this is why I'm trying to send you on this 7-day fast. Once your physical eyes are open, I mean your spiritual eyes are open enough for you to see the battlefield, through your relatives, through your wife, through your husband. It's primarily wives, actually, if you only knew. But primarily wives are, basically influenced by the demons. And they come in this nice format, nice shape and form to the husband, and then the demons influence. It's remarkable how it happens, folks. The husband has no clue. He sleeps with a woman, thinks it's his wife, but it's a demon that he's mating with and making babies. How to tell is just the behavior. Jesus said every tree is known by its fruit. So you have to sort of see what kind of fruit that person brings forth. And if the person's into tattoos and getting breast augmentation surgeries, you got your number. You got that person's number. And so does the devil. In the New Testament it's written, wives, obey your husbands. I do not permit a woman to teach. And then further down the line it says women must cover their head because of the angels. Look it up. Look it up. It's in the New Testament. It's written in black and white. Why is it because of the angels women must cover their head? It has nothing to do with tradition. Remember, if you go to a Catholic church, women cover their head to this day. In a Greek Orthodox church, women cover their heads. Why? Because of the angels. In a Russian or Serbian, Romanian Orthodox church, women cover their heads. Well, if you ask them, they probably wouldn't know. Only just a small number of people on this planet know why. It's because when a woman covers her head, she is inviting for that supernatural protection. It's kind of like in Islam. Women cover themselves for modesty so that another man would not be excited to look at this woman. Let's say she's very beautiful. And when men do business, if a woman walks in, she doesn't need to wear a thong bikini or high heels or show all of her entire body to the whole world. It's immodest, it's amoral, immoral, it's stupid. This is why in Islam the divorce rate is 0. Here I'm pointing in my hands. It's 1.2, a little lens, you can't see my hands, I guess, but 0, I'm pointing here in front of the camera. 0, I'm doing a 0 sign for you. 0 divorce rate. Why? Because they've got this under control in the East. In the West, it's out of control. Who is behind it? The demons, 100%. Again, if your spiritual eyes were open, folks, you would see that yourself, but they're closed. You're asleep. I'm trying to awaken you. Let's say, wake up, fellow. Go on a fast. Let your eyes be open. You'll see how the world operates. And it's going to be a shocker for you, not how you think it operates. So, folks, this is it. Now you're getting to the actual secrets of how things are done on this planet. The wars are fought not because one country wants to fight another country. It's the highest level dark forces, demons. They're affecting the highest ranking people who can push the nuclear button in those countries, and we have avoided, thank goodness, many wars lately, the Cuban Missile Crisis and many other occasions. But the point is very, very simple, folks. All of these devastating, deadly activities are not originating from the human mind. Once you go through this 7-day fasting process, by the 7th day you realize that about 90% of your thoughts that you thought were yours were not yours. They originate in a different dimension, in a different realm that you cannot see with your physical eyes. Only your spiritual eyes, your spirit of discernment will kick in, and for the first time you'll be able to see. Remember what Jesus said when they brought an invalid to him that was demon possessed, and the person was complaining to Jesus, your disciples couldn't cast out that demon, and the demon gave such a beating to the disciples, they were nearly beaten to a pulp by this guy who was an invalid. And how did it happen? And Jesus rebuked them. He said, "Oh, ye of little faith," meaning you idiots, you need to go on a fast. And then he further said, this kind, meaning this type of a spirit, dark force, can be cast out only through fasting and prayer. No other sort of a trick will get it done. If you think you're a Bible-thumping know-it-all and you've read the Bible 11 times backwards and forwards, but you can't formulate a simple sentence, what's your favorite passage in the Bible? I mean, the devil's got your number, amigo. 100%. 100%. It's not about thumping through the Bible 11 times, folks. It's being on the frequency of God. This is why Agape Ministries projecting this message into the world for those 1%ers who are looking for the frequency of God. They're like actively looking, praying, saying, God, where are you? I'm looking for you. This is why we're doing this recording. For those who are searching, seeking, and they're longing to find God, to have balance in their life. And they will never be able to do that unless they, essentially make the first move. And that is to actually go on a fast for at least 7 days in complete seclusion without talking to anybody, without not reading the news or watching, God forbid, the television. Yeah, you have to turn that thing off completely. And if you don't even understand what the hell I'm talking about here, the television and going on a fast, turn off this channel. Perhaps it's not for you. You're not ready for this. Those who are ready, they're searching. They're like sponges. They're absorbing all the information I'm sharing here. It's priceless. Maybe 10 people on this planet understand this fully. Maybe 20 people, who knows, but very few, very, very few. This dynamics, how everything happens in the world, how wars happen, how there's biological warfare. See, the elites, folks, the ruling class of America, obviously we're transmitting this message from the United States, so I'm going to use it as the reference point. The ruling class of America and of Europe and of Asia and around the world. It's global, actually. They don't care about you. You're just a dumb, unfulfilling sort of a sheep, like that. That's all they think of you. Like, basically, this is why this sort of a indoctrination machine was created. So you go through high school, get indoctrinated, brainwashed to believe certain things. So you have to go to college if you want to be somebody, and then in college they further indoctrinate you. And then you become a slave to the system, just paying taxes and owing student loans that cannot be discharged in a bankruptcy. If you had to, wipe out your debt, you can't do it with student loan. And then so you're part of the system. You can't get out. You're like a hamster in the wheel, spinning the wheel, and it doesn't go anywhere. You just stay in one spot. The system is designed against you. So how do you break away from it? Well, first of all, spiritually. This is why this message was created, is to at least bring your perception to the reality of this reality. The totality of reality is this world is run by a certain group of elite individuals, the ruling class, highly educated, the smartest people, but they're influenced by the dark side. They don't have your interest in mind. You're just cattle for them, you understand? This is why for them to reduce the population with a fake pandemic from 7 billion on this planet globally to 1 billion, that's their goal, by the way, is nothing. They would gladly do that. They would have no qualms about it. This is why we're seeing this being implemented as we speak. And you believe, if you think that this is just great, this pandemic is going to end, and life will be the same as before, you're gravely mistaken. The next thing, in a few months, they'll roll out the vaccines, and if you don't take the vaccine for your religious beliefs or for whatever beliefs, you'll be persona non grata on this planet, meaning you'll be denied access to banking, to shopping, to everything else. You'll be labeled as an enemy of the state, and then you'll have to go live in a desert like the early fathers of the church. The early fathers, before the split, 1054 Anno Domini, it was just one church, folks, just one church. Here, I promised to give you a little sunset. There you go. Here's that little sunset for you. Beautiful, beautiful scene. So the idea, folks, The idea is very, very, very simple. I want you to be alert. I want you to be aware. I don't want you to be scared, but just aware of what's going on, the dynamic in the world. And if you are aware of this, this is one step closer to victory. You'll be prepared. You'll know what's next. And if your spiritual eyes are open, you will not need me. You'll be connected to that other reality that I'm connected with. Because I've been through that experience, the 7-day fasting. It's incredible. By day 7, you're a new person. You're on the frequency of God. You can read people's thoughts. Before they even, if they call you on the phone, as soon as they open their mouth, you already know what they're going to say. You understand? You don't need to even hear. You're analyzing their energy. You're not analyzing their words. The words, they could lie to you, but the energy is cosmic. It's constant. It's universal. The language of the universe is not English, folks, and it's not Hebrew. It's mathematics. This is why I invite you to explore this further and understand that we're given 5 minutes on this planet when we arrived into this physical reality, so to speak. In the eyes of eternity, we've got 5 minutes, folks. Only 5 minutes. And if you're already in your 30s and your 40s, you have 2.5 minutes left on this planet. So now that you know all this, it's up to you to decide how you're going to spend that time, the remaining 2.5 minutes, given this information here that I'm sharing with you, trying to uplift you, elevate you in just this one message, give you, terabytes of data to fill your brain so that you know what to expect next, where you are, who you are, what you're doing on this planet, how much time you got left, where you're headed next. Oh yes, of course, there is the afterlife. But just think about it. We don't die. This flesh and bones, it's you have to explore that on the 7-day fast. Get on the frequency of God. Everything will be open to you. You'll be able to see life in a new, brand new light. Life will be renewed for you. You'll be more colorful. You won't be afraid of things that perhaps you're afraid of. You will not feel depressed. You'll be enjoying these flowers here. I'm pointing my fingers. Obviously, you can't see it on the screen, but all these flowers, they're in their zone. They have their own, believe it or not, communication. Not like human, they don't send emails. Same with animals. They have their own communication. And the same thing, folks, the very same thing happens with the other realm. See, the other realm that's invisible to the human eye, for instance, in Islam, those entities called Iblis or Shaitan. And when they come and they possess the people, it is very, very, it's devastating. They take over your life. In Christianity, they're called demons. In other religions, they have a different name for them. But the only true way how we can be sure that we are fully balanced, we are happy, and we are on the right path to equilibrium on this planet, to meeting our Creator after our time will come. Remember, 5 minutes in the eyes of eternity. We don't know when our day will come to pass to another life. When that happens, folks, we should be prepared. We should be ready. This is the purpose of this message, to help you get prepared, live a fulfilled life on this planet. And if you're entrepreneurially minded, if you have a spirit of business, you can get hold of us. Information's on your screen. Describe your story, and we'll be able to help you, perhaps get into an international business. It's not for everyone, but at least if you have that inclination, we could help you try get into the business. And it's recession-proof until the civilization, needs to come out of these. That business is going to be solid if that's what you're after. But most importantly, folks, we have 5 minutes on this planet. If you used up 2.5, you got another 2.5 minutes to live. Be wise, be strong, seek only the positive people around you who are promoting the same message I'm sharing with you. And while we have this opportunity to do this, and most importantly, may God bless all of us on this planet in this life, and in the life to come. May God bless and send His angels to protect all of us in these difficult, tumultuous times. And may we not forget who runs this universe, and be prostrate, meaning face down on the ground, thanking God every day for everything He gives us, including, the flowers, the sunshine, the trees, the animals, the peace. Most importantly, folks, pray for peace in your heart, meaning peace in your heart, for peace in your family, for peace in the city and country where you live in, and of course on a global scheme. On this note, folks, I want to wish you all the best. May God richly bless you with this message, and take care. Spread this message, if you understood it, if you enjoyed it. God bless you.